Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott. I noticed in the last couple of videos, since I went down from 2 videos a week to one, I was always trying to make my videos around 10 minutes. I failed a lot, but I was trying. And these newer ones that I'm doing, they've been going to like 20 minutes. So I kind of want your opinion. Would you rather have shorter videos, even if there's more of them, or is 20 minutes okay? I don't know. I just am curious what you guys would think and what your viewing habits are if you prefer the shorter videos. So let me know. My fake Patreon is going splendidly, and Keith from Attack from Down Under had an awesome idea about sending out like pinups of Varg that we could all, gush over and talk about how cute he is. And I think that's a great idea, Keith. And I'm going to take that idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send everyone every month it'll be a small upcharge, up from $14.88, maybe like an extra $20 a month. I'll send you a digital picture that you can print out yourself on your home printer. And then we can do like a craft night where like we all get together on a Zoom call and like draw hearts on the Varg pictures and talk about how adorable he is and things like that. So I think that'd be a great new tier to add to my Patreon. So I hope you'll all be in for that. I'm sure you all will, because the response has been tremendous. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get serious now. I'm going to talk about Nightingale some more, because I just had got this in the last video, the re-release of the Nightfall Overture album. And it kind of led me back to the albums that the songs were taken from, the first 4 Nightingale albums, and I wanted to talk about them briefly and what I like and don't like about them. And then some Playboys at the end, maybe, if it's not too long. So, Nightfall Overture, as I talked about before, it's 8 re-recordings, 2 from each of the first 4 albums, 1 new song, which the new song is friggin' tremendous. Like, it should have been on an album. It's a shame that it was kind of relegated to this. And a cover of an Edge of Sanity song. So that's all a really great kind of introduction to the band if you haven't heard them before. The songs, some of them are pretty drastically reworked to make the sound all kind of consistent, because as I'll talk about, some of the albums are kind of all over the place as far as style. And I think every song was improved basically with these re-recordings, which is usually the re-recordings are like kind of blah and whatever when other bands do them, but this is really good. And then the bonus disc, Live in Europe 2004 to 2016, has the Rock Hard live album that was already released previously. Very professional live album, very good. And then a bunch of add-ons after that, because Dan Swano's brother Dag, who eventually joined the band, he recorded every show, so he has all the shows. So they kind of cherry-picked interesting things to add on to that. This definitely drop off in the sound quality from their professionally recorded album to the other tracks, but definitely listenable. It's not, horrible bootleg quality. And, they did a good job of not recreating tracks that were already on the professional album. Edge of Sanity medley is really fun. There is a live recording of the Better Safe Than Sorry, the one new song on here that apparently is the only time they ever played it. So that's cool. Yeah, it's just a cool, like, 75-minute live album that you can listen to. If you're a big Nightingale fan, I would definitely recommend it. And if you've heard a little Nightingale and like them, I would definitely start here. This is a really cool well, it's not a compilation, re-recording, and then the live album on it. And it's available now, it just came out. So let's go through the 4 albums that these songs were taken from. This is the debut, The Breathing Shadow. It came out in 1995. This case is fucked, man. Let's pull that out so you can see it. There you go. Came out in 1995. All these came out on Black Mark recordings, which is kind of why they're not too available now. Nothing real special, just like a fold out in there. No lyrics or anything. So all of these albums are a continuing story, like a concept spread out over 4 albums. I mean, basically it boils down to being sad. I mean, I guess it's like our main character, there was some kind of accident or something when he was a kid, and he accidentally killed his best friend, and then his best friend comes back as a shadow and eventually takes over his life and takes over his body, and then it's a little nebulous about what's actually happening. Sometimes I can't tell who characters are going on, but you know, there's that concept in there if you want to dig into it. Anyway, I've wasted enough time. We're already 5 minutes. Okay, so this album is Dan Swano's kind of tribute to Sisters of Mercy. Very, very goth. He uses a really understated kind of deep goth vocal on this. It almost sounds like a guide vocal because they're like just kind of so basic. It's very minimalist. There's a drum machine, and I've seen people bitch about the drum machine on here, that it sounds shitty and he should have done better. At this point, Dan Swano was a very experienced producer, so I must conclude that the drum sound was intentional. Like, he wanted it to sound synthetic. My little joke I wrote down was he got Dr. Avalanche to do the drums on here. Dr. Avalanche was the name of the drum machine on the Sisters of Mercy stuff. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's really weird. It doesn't really fit, which is why like the re-recordings kind of gave these songs like a really new feel. Definitely there's definitely some prog in there. Marillion is Dan Swano's favorite band, so there's definitely some like misplaced childhood suite kind of vibes on one of the songs, Higher Than the Sky. I would say good guitar solos and keyboard solos, but it's really not representative of what the band would become. It's kind of more of an oddity. I do enjoy it. It's definitely one of those things where Dan Swano, he's talked about how, especially in his younger years, he would get into something super heavy and he'd be all about that for like a year, and then he'd burn out on it and want to move on to something else, which is what happened with death metal, which is why by the time Edge of Sanity got going and got popular, he was kind of over death metal already and was kind of trying to branch out into other things, which caused kind of the friction in the band. But that's the first album in 95, followed up quickly in 96 with this one, The Closing Chronicles, called, the subtitle is The Breathing Shadow Part 2. So in this one, it's not just him. He got his brother Dag to contribute as well. So it's just the two of them. Live drums on this. And this is quite a change from the first album because this is much more like a 70s prog vibe to it. Ironically, it feels much more alive than the first album, which if you're going by the concept, our main character is now dead and is now a ghost, but the album that is narrating this feels much more like I said, much more alive. This has like kind of the first, what I would call like the hit Nightingale song, Revival, the second song, which was again redone on the Nightfall Overture re-recording project. 7 tracks, about 40 some minutes, so there's some long songs on here. There's a ballad, but yeah, definitely more complex arrangements on a lot of the songs, and I definitely hear a lot of like Fish era Marillion on this one. So if you're into that kind of 70s, early 80s prog, I would definitely recommend this. The Closing Chronicles. Of the four, the first 4, it's my second favorite. Followed up, so that was supposed to be the end. But they came back to the project in 2000 with the third album called I. The story in it is like a prequel to the first 2. This one... Oh, and incidentally, this is the next one to be re-released. So I wouldn't hunt down this right now. Oh, don't hunt down any of them and pay a bunch of money because they're all gonna be re-released. But this one has more short. It's definitely more song oriented, shorter tracks, a bit more AOR in it, less proggy. I would say there's more 90s alt rock influence maybe in this one. The songwriting in this is split pretty evenly between Dan and his brother Dag. It's still just the two of them. A lot more keys in this. Keys are a bit more prominent and more driving the melody a lot of times. This one I like. It's an enjoyable listen, but it doesn't have like the standout tracks to it. I would put of the four, I'd probably put this at the bottom because the Breathing Shadow is just so weird. The first one, the goth one, that I think is more interesting. This one is just kind of it's good, but not a highlight. So, they did the two. They said it was over. Then they did a prequel. Okay. Well, then in 2003 comes this one, Alive Again, The Breathing Shadow Part 4. And this one is, I think, the band's masterpiece. Everything came together. It's a full band this time, and it really sounds like it. It's just full of hits. It's like, hits, okay. But it's like the band, the band, Dan and Dag got together and said, let's make a hit album. And like that was it almost feels like that is what they were going for, because every song is full of hooks and earworms. Shadow Man, the second track, is just a fantastic song. This is one of those albums that, I know I like weird music that's not for everybody, and that's fine. But this is one of those that I was like, if just a normal person could hear this, I think they would love it. Like, this should be a hit album in my world. The songs are just so well crafted. The performances are awesome. There's not a bad song on here. There's one song, Eternal, which is like an 11-minute kind of epic. And even that is just super catchy and never gets like up its own ass or boring. Nightingale, like if you come across this, Alive Again by Nightingale, snap it up. I mean, this is one that if you saw it, I would say get it. Don't wait for the reissue because it's so good. Came out in 2003, also on Black Mark, but it was released by the End Records here. So this actually might be pretty easy to find. So that is the 4. They did do 3 albums after that, but I didn't want to make this too long, so I may talk about those in another video. Strangely, this was, supposed to be the final chapter. The first song on the next album, which came out in 2005, called Invisible, is also part of this concept, but then it's done. Then they're just kind of do other stuff. So, I don't know. Sometimes the concept, I think, hinders a project like this. Like, a normal person seeing, oh, this is the Breathing Shadow Part 4. I need, why would I get Part 4? It doesn't matter. Like, this is the best album. I would say grab it up. All right, so that is the first 4 Nightingale albums. Been really enjoying revisiting those. All right, let's get into some Playboys. I only got a couple here to show. So I don't know if I've talked about it on here. I think I've talked about it with Eli that I had possibly an unhealthy obsession with Pamela Anderson, which my friend Brandon, if he's watching, will know about. I had my bedroom in one of the places I lived. Every wall was covered with Pamela Anderson posters. Like, whenever I saw one, I'd buy one. Anyway, so when I was rebuilding my Playboy collection, I wanted to get all the Pamela Anderson issues I used to have. And this one was kind of tended to go for a lot of money. She's not actually in it, but this is her first appearance, and that's her on the cover. It's very strange how they can make the same woman look different in these pictures, because just glancing at that, I don't think you would think that's Pamela Anderson. But a little tip, if you're, not just collecting these, but collecting anything, like going on Whatnot, if you see something going for crazy money, unless you really want it, fucking chill out and wait, because I saw this going for a bunch of money and I didn't bid on it. And then I ended up in, a smaller auction with not many people in it, and the guy selling didn't know what it was, and I got it for like $2. So very happy to get that. And then this one I didn't know if I'd ever get. It seemed to be kind of elusive. This is another cover that she did for Playboy Nudes. So these magazines, I think she just looks gorgeous there on the back. So this magazine and their other versions, they were called the newsstand specials at the time. Like they had Book of Lingerie and various other titles. These you cannot pretend you're reading the articles. This is just 100 pages of straight nudity, naked ladies all over the place. But these were not like a monthly issue. They were I think they might have come out monthly, but they all had different names and there's no number on them, or it's not dated. So they're kind of hard to look for, and they're definitely not as prevalent as the monthly issues. So I didn't know if I'd ever find it, but it popped up in an auction and nobody wanted it. So I grabbed it for a couple bucks. So very happy to have it. There she is again. My sweetie. All right, that's it, guys. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Check out some Nightingale if you've never heard him before. I really recommend it. Even, especially like people who aren't really into metal. This isn't metal at all. You know, it's hard for a group of guys who are maybe most known for death metal to kind of get other fans of other genres to listen to them. But I hope people will check out Nightingale, and hopefully these reissues will help. So thanks for watching, guys, and as always, what the fuck? Oh, we're not done, because I wanted to tell everybody I have to go to a country concert on Saturday. I'm going to see George Strait with my wife and some friends, and I'm really not looking forward to it. So I just wanted everyone to send me good thoughts, and so I won't be a complete asshole and ruin it for everybody. I'll probably just sit there and be quiet and wait for it to be over, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So that is it now. As always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.